Testing now. Testing now. There we go. Okay. That was my bad. How y'all doing? Hey Nathan, hey Sandy. How are you guys doing? Should be fixed now, Kaiwan. I think it's fixed. That was my bad. I actually just forgot to change the setting on my OBS. But you should hear me now, I think. I hope. Hey Angel. How are you? You guys will have to forgive me. I've been in a bit of a multitasking situation at the moment. This weekend. Okay, Nathan, you can hear me. Perfect. Okay. So, yeah, no, I went to 2 different shows this weekend on Friday and Saturday. We're going to do Portia drama first, Angel, just because that's the first on my notes. But I think on my notes, like, Ryan's right after. So, we hitting it back to back anyway. So you want to hear me talk about it, or not talk about it for long. I saved all the minor stuff for last. Just so that we could, like, speed round that last bit. I'm not too sure, Kaiwan. I mean, I'm a little bit... You might be a little bit behind on the rest of the stream, because I did see, like, right away that I didn't have any sound. And then fixed it right away. And then I tested it out, and I could hear me again. But I noticed right off the jump that I wasn't... my microphone wasn't on. But... Yeah, this week didn't end up so bad. I honestly was kind of worried at the start. I was like, they need to pick things up a little bit. But yeah. It certainly picked up by Friday, didn't it? Portia, it's finally out. It is. Alright, you guys have to excuse me for just 30 seconds. So like I was saying, I went to 2 different shows this weekend. And for those of you guys that don't know, I do a thing called Music in YEG, which basically promotes local music here in Edmonton. And I usually show show footage on Instagram, on the Music in YEG Instagram page. And since it's all about promoting local music and it's, you know, and supporting local music, I basically let the bands have the footage if they ask for it, because you know, they can like repost it on their own page, like on like a story if they want to. But if they'd rather have the footage so that they can kind of put it on whatever social media they want, then I really don't mind sending it to them. And so I am doing that for a band currently. I'm just uploading a couple to Google Drive so I could send it to them in a little bit here. But you know, regardless, here I am. I am here, and I'm just about ready to talk. Everything is uploading now, so all I gotta do is let the band know. Well, how was your guys' weekend? I hope it was good. By the way, it was so crazy. I don't know if it's just that my ass is getting old, but going to a concert 2 nights in a row, not fun for when you're tired. The bands were all great. The Friday show, there was 4 bands playing. So it was about, you know, roughly 3.5, 4 hours. But there were 8 bands playing at the show yesterday. And that was me there for about 8 hours. So not only was I, you know, running on a late night, didn't sleep much, kind of situation the day before and the day after. I also had to like make sure I had like a portable charger with me, and also my phone was running out of space, and so I was like deleting and like, just clearing space like every time every time the bands would be like switching. So I was just, exhausted. But I had today to rest before doing this live stream. And but when I say rest, I mean I still had to post like all the footage to like the socials and everything, and make sure I tagged everyone correctly and all that jazz. Oh man. Uploading as I speak. We'll send as soon as it processes. There. Now my attention is with you guys. And I can see what's going on in the chat as well. Okay. Alright, there we go. Okay. Okay, so Kaiwan, you were saying, you were on another live with someone and their sound wasn't working either. Mine was just a mistake on my part, y'all. It wasn't, I don't know, it's not some weird thing. I just forgot to turn on the mic on OBS, that's all. Oh, Lord. Hey, Joyce. From North Carolina. Wow, well, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you being here. I am from Canada, if you didn't know. Portia, Angel, you said Portia really thought she can start a marriage on a lie. She hasn't learned anything from the past. Jordan tried to warn her, y'all. Okay, but let's get into it. Welcome to General Hospital After Show, General Hospital Envy. Let's get into it. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Trina and Portia and all that good stuff first, and then we'll get into Ryan and Esme and Heather, and then we'll talk about like the minor stuff that happened as well. Nathan, you said a part of me felt those scenes were pointless between Portia and Trina. Why couldn't they take place during the wedding? GH does it again with chaos and drama. Always missing the boat. I have something to say about that, but let's just like summarize what happened first, all right? Because I do actually like right in like the first bit of my notes here, I kind of bring up how it plays out and how it's different from the norm. Portia's your queen, but she's wicked as a mouse. I mean, come on, let's not. Okay, Portia, it looked incredible though. I will say that Portia looked incredible during the wedding. All right, but yeah, let's kick off with the drama that's been building up for years, that they made us wait a whole other week for, pretty much. The question of Trina's paternity finally coming to light. I think collectively, we being like the longtime soap fans that we are, we tend to think if there's a big secret before a wedding, the secret is going to come out after the infamous line, "Speak now or forever hold your peace." And I think we all thought for a while that Stella would be the one to do it. And even when she faked sick to avoid the wedding altogether, I still thought she'd have a crisis of conscience and show up anyway. But surprisingly, that just wasn't the case. Not that we didn't get any drama at the wedding. Alright? Jordan did show up and did her best to convince Portia to tell Curtis the truth before the wedding, and she definitely got to her because she almost told him before the wedding began. She was practically quivering, crying behind the door when he checked in on her, obviously from behind the door. And of course he was oblivious to how she sounded, even though she was like practically bawling her eyes out while talking to him. He didn't notice, and he was like, "Alright, see you later." And then she just, of course she didn't answer the door, right? Oh man. But then when the couple were saying their vows, she was practically about to word vomit it in right there and then, pretty much, but decided not to, and they became man and wife anyway. So, Sandy, you said Stella got Trina set up to ask the right questions. That's true. I do appreciate that Stella did that. And I'll summarize that in a second as well. But yeah, the reception happened at the Metrocourt Ballroom, which is a little weird considering he literally owns a whole ass nightclub. But I guess when your bestie Nina owns the Metrocourt, you might as well use the venue where they usually throw the nurses' ball. Though admittedly, I feel like it looked a lot nicer for this wedding than it usually does at the nurses' ball, right? In my opinion anyway. And we got some wholesome moments during the wedding too. During the reception too, like Curtis and Portia's first dance, and then the daddy-daughter dance between her and her father, and that Taggart and Trina also decided to do, and then Curtis as well. And naturally, Portia looked sad when she seen it, knowing that she actually might be dancing with her real daddy, and not even know about it. And also, like, Portia's dad and brother did notice, like, her looking sad. But, of course, she didn't really say anything about it. And then Marshall got the nerve to play the clarinet, leaving Curtis choked and grateful. So, yeah, like, a lot of really, like, nice moments during the actual reception before things inevitably would hit the fan. And then come the speeches. Drew gave a nice speech. And then much like when it's time for Elizabeth to perform at the nurses' ball, her speech at this wedding happened during the commercial break. Like, I don't understand why they do this to Elizabeth, like, all the time. They don't give her any material. Like, I guess, she is on the verge of confessing to helping hold a pregnant girl in a tower for the now dead baby daddy. So she's got stuff going on, but, like, why? Open a new headcanon? Oh, man. But yeah, I just don't get why they did that to Elizabeth. Oh, also, Terry was there with Yuri, so we got to see Yuri. They were cute the whole time, of course. And, Trina, she was supposed to give a speech as well. However, she felt like it was wrong that Stella was missing out on such a big day for Curtis. So she and Spencer decided to go pay her a visit to try and convince her to, to go to the reception if she was feeling up for it. But when she got there, she realized that Stella wasn't sick by noticing she didn't have a stuffed up nose, or she didn't have chicken noodle for, like, room service. Basically, the girl is a better investigator than Jordan herself. I think they cut the line in. That one is on Peacock. I mean Hulu. If you're talking about Elizabeth's speech, it wasn't, like, I'm in Canada, so my show didn't get interrupted. I think in the US it did. Not sure about how you watch Taiwan, because you're not from either, right? Sandy, you said, what happened to the excitement of the closing of a storyline? We keep getting that down. I thought we were going to have someone stop the wedding, or at least some hair pulling. So let's talk about kind of where things went from here then. So Stella, and BDI, Derek, you said you think Curtis and Jordan will get back together. I don't think so. I really don't think so. We'll see though. But anyway, so Stella all but told Trina the truth, simply saying that there is something Portia isn't telling you, and that's why I couldn't in good conscience go to the wedding. And she even says it's going to be hard to hear, but she knows that she's strong enough to get through it, which obviously scares the crap out of Trina. And, she's already angry that her mother is hiding something from her as it is. So Trina heads back to the Metrocourt to confront Portia, and in another twist, she decided to take her into a room and have a discussion privately. You live in Brooklyn, New York. Okay, I thought you lived outside the U.S. for some reason. Jordan needs someone new. Oh, you're from France. Okay. Cool. Hey, Jacarius. All right, so Trina decides to have the conversation with her mother in private. And so it's I find it interesting because I'm torn a little bit. Because obviously, I can see you guys are upset that it wasn't like a big blowout at the wedding. But in some ways, for me anyway, like I feel like maybe GH was considering that we all kind of had that belief that that's how it would happen, and maybe they just didn't want to be predictable. And so I didn't actually mind that she confronted her privately. Like, you know, GH was trying to zag when we were expecting a zig, you know what I mean? Like, it would have been like the typical cliche for it to happen in front of everyone, and I don't know. I didn't hate that she did it privately, because in some ways I like when GH isn't predictable. So, I don't know. I think we all predicted that it was going to come out at the, you know, down the aisle in the Speak Now or Forever Hold Their Peace thing, or in a big crowd, you know, in front of everyone. But they really made it like a family matter, and like made sure that no one else was involved in the scenes. And so, like, I don't know, I just feel like GH is handling the Robinsons / the Ashfords like a real family unit, and not making it this big cliche soap thing. But what do you guys think? I mean, obviously some of you wish that it did happen the way that we kind of all predicted that it did. But and I forget who said this earlier, and I'll come back to it. Let me see. Oh yeah, Nathan, it was you that said that it felt a little bit pointless having Trina be the one to confront her in the way that she did. And to some extent, I do kind of agree with that a little bit. YouTube while we watch says lower your expectations. Oh man. But yeah, Nathan, you said that it felt a little bit pointless. It did feel like so much of this dragged out unnecessarily. Like, I think the wedding, like the actual ceremony happened Monday, right? Monday or Tuesday? And like we didn't get Trina confronting Portia till Friday. Like it seemed, I don't know, it seemed extra drawn out, and probably didn't have to be. So in that sense, I'm like, I kind of agree that like it really dragged out longer than it needed to. I'm sorry, I'm going to catch up with your comments now because I went on a tangent there. Angel, you said, I swear that when they finally try to bury Nicholas, his body won't be on the same place Ava left him. We're going to talk about that too. Alright. Can't feel sorry for Portia. I don't blame you, Jacarius. So, I think you meant wedding, Ruth. Wedding itself was gorgeous, but it dragged on forever. After 2 years, we deserve more drama. Well, I think, in a way, and actually, well, I want to kind of get into what else happened here. And talk about the confrontations a little bit. Because, in a way, GH is setting up for this drama to continue to kind of happen. But it also, you know, it's going to drag things out a bit longer. So it's like a double-edged sword in a way. It's a double-edged sword. So what I will say about the confrontation, Jacarius, you said, Portia don't know who's Trina's daddy, like what the hell. But we knew that though. We knew she didn't know. But yeah, so first off, Brooke Kerr and Tabiana Ali, I think they were both brilliant in those scenes. Trina was angry and heartbroken when Portia told her the truth. Not only did her mom lie to her whole life, but lied to her father on top of cheating on him, which hurt her even more, and even lied to Curtis, who she's grown to love herself. So it's, you know, it's hitting her hard, and I think that Tabiana played it really well. I'm not gonna lie, of course I'm thinking about how Sydney would have played it off. I think Sydney would have played more towards the anger than the tears. But I think that Tabiana did a great job regardless. Meanwhile, poor Spencer was downstairs in the ballroom being confronted by 3 anxious, intimidating men trying to figure out what was going on. And Spencer put his Cassadine good manners on. But in all fairness, he didn't know what the secret was. So he told them what he did know, that it appeared to be a secret that involved the family and that he's not privy to what the secret is, and that it also involves Curtis and Taggart. So the two of them go up just as Trina was about to storm off, and Portia confessed that Curtis may be Trina's father. And Trina ran off because she didn't want to hear Portia's excuses again, and Taggart went after Trina, while Curtis ripped Portia a new one, of course, for lying and continuing to lie. What have Michael Jackson's bad at the theme song for the wedding? Sandy, you said you didn't know Portia didn't know. Well, yeah, that's the reason why she was pushing so hard to find out if Marshall or to find out if Trina has the marks was because she wanted to find out if she was in fact Curtis's daughter, because she didn't know for sure. And in my opinion, like I knew that she, like. I feel like she even said not recently, but like back then, I think we were kind of privy to the fact that she didn't know for sure, right? Like I think we all jumped to the conclusion that like, yeah, Curtis is definitely her father because like, why would they put us through the storyline? And so like, if he doesn't turn out to be, then we just experienced years of a storyline that was for nothing. Which is crazy. Like maybe there's gonna be some plot twist that we didn't see. Like maybe I don't know what kind of plot twist, but something more could easily happen here. But anyway, so some of Portia's reasonings for not being honest was including but not limited to Curtis being mad that she didn't tell him that he was married and wanting nothing to do with her, wanting to save her marriage rather than ending up pregnant and alone, and not wanting to take Taggart away from Trina once she found out Curtis was living in Port Charles again. So Curtis was pissed. Taggart, on the other hand, he handled the situation, I think, with grace and maturity and dignity. He's seen how hurt Trina was, and he put her first. He just comforted her and reassured her that absolutely nothing has changed for him. He will always be her father, no matter what. And then, just when you thought Trina had enough drama in her life, let's check in with what's been going on with Esme this week. Because poor Trina, like, she's probably about to find out something that's going to scare the crap out of her. Kaiwan, you think there's a rewrite? I do think that there could be rewrites in the war, like, that were at play here. Because I think we've been through a couple of writing teams since the story began. I might be wrong on that, but maybe. But there was a point where I thought that Taggart already knew that Curtis was the father. Because one of the last things he said before he randomly died in the hospital when he faked his death was that he just said something that made it seem like Trina wasn't his kid. Kind of like something to the effect of like, oh, I love that kid. Like, I don't know. And it was something in the way that he said it that made me suspicious at the time that he might have known that Curtis was the father. So in my mind, maybe that was the rewrite, that Taggart was oblivious to it. Because I don't know when Taggart found out about the affair, right? Sandy said Taggart was great. She will always be his daughter. And that's how a dad should handle things with a child that he's raised, like biology and DNA don't mean anything at the end of the day. If you have a a guy in your life that has been with you since birth, that has been there for you every step of the way. That is your dad. It doesn't matter whose DNA is inside of you. Now, obviously, if Curtis knew that he could be the father or is the father, obviously he would have been there for her too. It's not like he was a deadbeat. Taggart, I don't know. Like, if Portia was upfront with him, we don't really know how Taggart would have reacted, because he seemed at peace with the fact that she had an affair with Curtis to begin with, because he kind of knew his own role, and that he threw himself into his work with going after Cyrus. So he didn't really blame Portia for straying. And so you would think that and I don't know when he found out. Like, I don't know if he found out years later or like right after Curtis left her. I don't know. But if he did find out right after, then you would think that Taggart would have been suspicious on who the father was. Which makes me believe that maybe he didn't know right away. But just the question of when did he find out, Anyway. But yeah, let's get into the Esme and Heather and Ryan stuff. So Heather and Ryan were plotting their great escape from Spring Ridge this week. It took a bit of reassuring on Heather's end, and she does so by handing him a knife and telling him to be ready and to leave Esme to her. She has a conversation with Esme, just comforting her and offering to walk her back to her room, but that she knows a shortcut. And when a security guard yells at them, Esme becomes uneasy, and then Ryan pops in and kills the guard with a knife, which obviously has Esme screaming in terror. So if there's any reason whatsoever, if you guys ever had any doubts that Esme was faking her memory loss, I feel like this confirms that it's definitely not. I was convinced that she did really lose her memory, and I just figured, if anything, she might get her memory back and then start faking it. Although I don't know if you guys seen, I know some of you have, but maybe for those that didn't see, Avery Pohl had an interview with Stephen Bradford on their podcast. She seems to think that they might not intend on giving her back her memories, and that this is essentially a clean slate. She doesn't know for sure, but she thinks that's the direction it's going in. And I don't, they shoot a couple months in advance, so if that's the case, and this interview is obviously recent, she's not getting her memories back anytime soon. Kaiwan, you said the other actor that played Taggart, the second actor, he told the story of any other blood if you need $1. Sandy, you said Heather and Ryan remind me of a cartoon. Yeah, they're pretty comical considering they're supposed to be scary villains. But I don't know. I enjoy them. But anyway, Heather basically tries to calm Esme down, just saying, do what Ryan says and she'll protect her from him. Meanwhile, Mac was having Valentine's dinner with Felicia because it was Valentine's Day, remember that, but had to cut it short because they were transferring Heather back to Ferncliff because they're convinced that she was just stalling to not go back to Ferncliff. But before he gets there, he sees two women stranded on the road, and it ends up being Heather and Esme. And then Ryan comes in from behind him and whacks him over the head with a tire iron, which doesn't kill him, proving that he has a harder head than Peter August, or that Ryan has a weaker arm. I don't know. And before Ryan could finish him off, the alarms went off at Spring Ridge, and they had to book it, so they couldn't kill him. Meanwhile, Felicia went over to Ava's to let her know that the PCPD think that Ryan is somehow pulling the strings behind the scenes when it comes to the Hook killer, and thinks that they need to come up with a plan. Before that, though, Ava was with Austin getting ready to move Nicholas's body from the stables, and she had to get Austin to go ahead before her, so because Felicia showed up. So keep in mind, Austin is somewhere on the island. And it's interesting that it's taking Ava and Austin to get back to Nicholas's body. Again, I don't think that we're going to see Nicholas back anytime soon. There might just be a mystery about it. But I guess also, since Ryan was on the island, should Nicholas's body still be there, they could probably blame Nicholas's death on him. So, I don't know. Kaiwani said they're trying to make Esme the next Carly. I feel like a lot of Carly kind of ratings is now in Esme, and the other actors that played. Do you mean Marshall? Sorry, I'm a little bit confused. Ruthie said, if Esme isn't getting her memory back, all I gotta say is hallelujah, or in short, amen. Man, well, you know, I think Avery Pohl's a great actress. And she's playing, you know, not knowing anything about her life really well, considering, I guess, in a way, she's kind of been typecast as, like, the crazy villain, because it's not the first crazy villain that she's played. But who knows? Well, the story is still young. She just lost her memory not that long ago. And, you know, the story is building around it, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, just to get back to it a little bit. Oops, sorry guys. If that was loud in your ears, my bad. I just lost my way in my notes here, that's all. Okay. So, anyways, Felicia is leaving. Ryan shows up at the door, excited that he'd be getting two birds with one stone, so to speak. I love that instead of acting scared, Ava was amused because she knew he was faking and laughed at him having to act like a potato, just, you know, and just taking everything that she was saying the whole time for, like, what, the whole year that it's been happening. And then Ryan gloats to Felicia about knocking out Mac, who at this point is at GH trying to call Felicia after Jordan found Mac and took him there. Ryan eventually picks up the phone and basically tells him that Felicia is going to be his insurance, that cops don't come and get him. Austin comes back into Windermere and hears Ryan holding Ava and Felicia hostage. But before he can call the cops, in walks the Hook, ready to slice him. Note that they did hide the identity of the Hook when they came after him, which I find interesting, because if Heather is supposed to be the actual Hook killer, then why would they hide her identity? You know what I mean? Like, we don't, like, I'm still on the fence on whether Heather is actually the true Hook killer or just a copycat, but this is just making it more confusing. Do you mean the other actor that played Taggart? Because there was no other Curtis actor. Okay, so let's quickly touch base on Sam and Dante, because they're also tied to the story. They're in an obscure town in England trying to track down Maggie Fitzgerald, who is Esme's nanny, thinking she might be the Hook, or at least might have information that they need, particularly like who Esme's father is. They go to this local dive bar where an Irish lass is giving them friendly good tidings and drinks. When they bring up Maggie, she does get a little nervous, but appears to share some info. When they ask about a nanny named Maggie, she gives them info on a nanny with a similar name who was a Spice Girls fan. Loved the reference. I used to be a diehard Spice Girl fan when I was a kid. So, you know, still kind of am. I like the reference. But it's also like cliche being like, England, Spice Girls. I don't know. Anyway, they tell her that Esme is in trouble in America, which scares her, but she keeps a poker face overall, and even mentions how she's in prison and is being framed to a string of murders, but that they think Ryan Chamberlain, who has built a repertoire with Esme, is somehow responsible for the murders, or at least someone very close to Esme is responsible. Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm so organized today. But yeah, Sam and Dante, they go back to their Airbnb and regroup, which is when the audience learns that the bartender is actually Maggie herself and is on the verge of catching a train in London so she can head back to the US and help Esme. Sam thinks Dante should go back to get more info out of her, thinking she knows more than what she's saying. And Dante does so, and Maggie is ready to attack Dante. Good thing Sam found out from the Airbnb owner, who just happens to know literally everybody in town, that the bartender's real name was Margaret, and she did do some work as a nanny in the US. And so Sam runs back to the bar in time to stop Maggie from hurting Dante and escaping. Turns out she was just genuinely scared that Sam and Dante were sent there by Ryan Chamberlain, but they reassure her that Ryan can't even speak or move and is locked away in a facility in prison. But then ironically they find out like 2 minutes later that Ryan actually escaped prison and took Esme with him. So I don't know. Oh man. The Spice Girls, I thought maybe the name is gay. What? Anyway, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, they found out that they also find out that Ryan Chamberlain is Esme's father. So they're shocked by that, and obviously that makes Jake. You said what a cliffhanger. Obviously that makes makes things a bit more scary for Ryan taking Esme. And I think I think Dante called Jordan to let her know, right? That Ryan Chamberlain was Esme's dad. Or that she has reason to believe that Ryan is Esme's dad. Maybe the nanny is supposed to be gay because he's been... What? Spice Girls and the Lady was like a life, like he was going to be the girlfriend of the nanny. I'm so confused, Kawan. I'm so sorry. I don't know what you mean. Nathan, you said Frank didn't know what to do with Dante and Sam, so he sends them to find Esme's nanny in London. With her PI skills and him being a detective, they could have done all that work in Port Charles. Yeah, it did feel like just giving them something to do. And it was pointless because the truth came out anyway, so... I mean, Ryan escaped with Esme. All right, but let's switch gears. Let's talk about some of the not so widely shown stories of the week. Anna was still haunting Eileen from beyond the grave, this time hacking her phone. Poor Eileen just wants out of Victor's grasp and feels awful for playing Laura, and even tries to apologize for being too eager while she was away. Laura was aware of Esme and Heather escaping Spring Ridge and had told Eileen to handle the press, and she actually told Victor about the escape, and Victor told Spencer, who was just about to tell Trina, going back to Trina having something to worry about besides her parentage. Because obviously Spencer is just assuming that Esme faked her amnesia or got her memories back and that Trina was in danger from her. As if, her week hasn't gone badly enough. Oh, you thought she was going to be the girlfriend of the nanny. Oh. Okay. Now I get what you mean. But nope, she's just Maggie herself. Oh, Edmund, you said that Anna haunting is so corny. Yeah. I mean, I'd be like... Maybe Eileen's just so, like, distraught from the fact that she believes Anna is dead that this is somehow believable to her. But, like, Anna just being like, "You're next, Eileen. You're next. You're next. It's your fault I'm dead." Like, it is really corny. But Eileen's reaction is kind of funny. I would scream too if I found out Ryan was my father. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Oh my god. So Ryan actually revealed to Esme that he was her dad. And oh my god, she was like so like scared and crying. Like she was so upset because obviously she's the one that got Sam and Dante to investigate to try and track down her father. And here he is already knowing that he is her dad. And she finds that out, you know, post memory loss, being absolutely terrified of him and just watching him kill someone. And then he's like, by the way, I'm your dad. And oh my god, she just was scream crying. And Heather is just there like, oh god. Like, I don't think Heather revealed that she was the mom yet, right? Like, it's interesting. I find the way that Heather is handling Esme to be almost kind of endearing. Like, she does seem to like grasp the concept that this is actually scaring the shit out of her. Like, she, you know, she's being like, she's just trying to like calm her down and like, you know, knowing that Ryan is a scary person to deal with and that he is this killer. Like, the scream she scrumped. Oh man, yeah, the scream she scrumped, man. Oh lord, yeah. Avery's so good, y'all. I love her as an actress. Man. Oh, the reaction Jordan and Laura had when they found out Esme's father is Ryan, right? Wait till she finds out who her mother is. Yeah. But I mean, if I was in a situation where I found out these two psychopaths were my parents, and I had to be like, who's the lesser of two evils? I'd probably be like, well, it's Heather, because she's at least trying to protect me from Ryan. That was, Angel, that was the moment that you truly believed Esme wasn't faking her memory loss. Oh, for sure. Because Esme knew Ryan, Esme pre-memory loss knew Ryan was a serial killer. And you could see the damn fear in her eyes. But even, you know, in hindsight, even back then, you could tell that she was kind of scared of Ryan. Like, especially when she kind of had that realization that he doesn't have a parental bone in his body. You know, like, he was pretty much willing to dispose of her if she didn't do what he said, you know? So like, I don't know. The writing is so weird for all of them because it seems like Heather, like there's a part of Heather that wants to be a family with Ryan and Esme and the kid. But then there's also like her kind of realizing that Ryan would off them, like, you know, and I think that she's just trying to like ease him. I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic between the three of them. Like, I can't read Heather and what she really wants out of Ryan. Like, maybe it's like a keep your enemies closer. Because look at all she did to, like, protect Esme from Ryan. You know what I mean? Like, she like, gave the baby up and, like, hid her from Ryan. And then Ryan somehow found out anyway, but... But I am curious to know how he found out. Did we ever find out how he found out? Remind me to show you on Netflix. What show on Netflix? All right. Let's talk about Carly and Obrecht, because that was kind of early on in the week. And And it's kind of the last thing we have to talk about, really. Well, like, not just Carly and Obrecht, but like the whole Willow situation. Because not much happened out of it. Yeah, how Ryan found out Esme is his daughter? Yeah. Did we find out how he found out? Or is there just more to the story that we're just probably going to hear from Maggie? But yeah, anyway. But yeah, let's... The show on Netflix? Yo, I barely go on Netflix anymore, to be honest. But anyway, so yeah, early on in the week, we saw Obrecht confronting Carly in the elevator at GH about keeping Nina away from her daughter, and Obrecht guilted her into at least paving the way for Willow and Obrecht to have a relationship. But she doesn't reveal that she's gotten tested to see if she can save Willow's life. But anyway, because Carly was feeling a bit guilty that Britt died trying to save Jocelyn's life from the hook, that's why she agreed to pave the way for Obrecht and Willow to have a relationship. Because that's still a secret, obviously. And speaking of Joss, she ran into Dex at the wedding because he was actually hired by Sonny to do extra security because of the hook situation. And Spencer did not like him being there. Nor did he like Joss's hypocrisy about defending Dex while she pisses on Sonny constantly. And it's funny because like later on, Jocelyn kind of makes a comment to Spencer being like, who I see is none of your business, but like she's made no like inclination that she and Dex were like a thing, you know? Like, I just found that interesting. You, the TV show on Netflix. Okay, got it. Sorry, y'all. What's it about? The show You. I'm sorry, Kaiwan. I think you're using, mic to talk or whatever, and of course it's not going to be like you in capital letters, or you can't like quote it. So that's my bad. Sorry. Edmund, you said, I think Heather dropped a charm from Ryan's necklace in with Esme when she dropped her off as a baby. Well, that much I think I knew. That's how Maggie found out that Ryan Chamberlain was her dad, right? But how did Ryan? So like, did Ryan like follow her? Like, that's why I'm so confused. Oh no, I don't see a problem with Spencer calling out Joss and Dex, like, particularly about Joss's hypocrisy when it comes to how she basically pisses on Sonny all the time, but Dex is working for him. Obviously, Jocelyn knows that Dex is not going to be working for Sonny much longer, and then we, the audience, know that Dex isn't actually working for Sonny. He's just pretending to get dirt on him. And speaking of that, Sonny got a call that they would be meeting with that shady security guy in exactly 2 weeks, which Dex then informs Michael of. And ironically, just before that, Willow and Michael agreed to get married in exactly 2 weeks. So Michael is obviously going to have to choose between revenge on his father and marrying his dying wife-to-be. And that, my friends, was GH in a nutshell. Oh yeah, Ruth, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Yeah, like I think that Heather does have that mentality, for sure. I think I don't know, I feel like she's scared of Ryan, but also turned on by Ryan. I don't know. Heather's morbid, you guys. Angel, you said it bugged me that Trina had a problem with Spencer calling out Joss and Dex. Yeah, but at the same time, Trina didn't say you're not needed. Like Trina did was like, you're not needed here, Dex. Like, but Trina also doesn't know the whole situation with Joss and Dex yet. So honestly, like, I don't want to like talk about like, oh well, like Trina's gonna have to have that conversation with Joss soon, because Trina's a little busy. Her life is falling apart at the seams right now, you know? So like, she's probably not gonna find out about Joss and Dex for a while. But I hope that when she does, she'll confront Joss's ass and call her out for it too. Because, you know, Cam is a good friend to her, and I don't think that I'm worried that Cam is going to be so isolated from all of his friends, because Trina could take Joss's side, and Spencer, like, yeah, Spencer's going to take Cameron's side, obviously, but he's going to be with Trina, like, in a relationship, likely. So, like, I don't know. Angel, you said, I'm confused how the shipment can get a lot of people unalived. Well, I think it's more so that whatever they're shipping is, I don't know, like there's something about it. There's something highly illegal going on within it. It's not about people could die. It's literally just like whatever is going on with that security team, they do some pretty illegal shit. And the fact that Sunny's in with them could easily get him sent to prison. Rumors that Ava will frame Ryan for Nick's murder. See, I don't read rumors and spoilers that much, but I know, like, in my head, I feel like that's potentially an option. Like, if Nicholas is in fact dead, she could easily blame Ryan for murdering Nicholas. And, you know, I think, and it's hard to say at this point because I don't know how it's going to play out with Ryan making an exit. Like, if he's just going to leave with Felicia or whatever. Instead of Ava, which I don't know. I don't see that really happening because he loves Ava way more than Felicia. But I think, let's say Ava doesn't go with Ryan somehow. I feel like they're going to bring up with Austin, this is perfect. We can, Ryan was here on the island. And I think Laura, or it was either Laura or Mac, had an inkling that Felicia might have been at Windermere with Ava. But that's the smart thing, blame Ryan. Yeah. Like, it makes sense to blame Ryan. If Nicholas is in fact dead, and he is on the island, and we know that, the police are coming to the island one way or the other, because they've kind of figured out that that's likely where Ryan is. If Ryan manages to escape before the police get there, they could just find Nicholas's dead body and say that he murdered Nicholas. Although, technically it's been a few days since Nick was murdered. And, I guess if logic is going to factor in here at all, then that body is going to be a few days postpartum, and the PCPD are going to pick up on that. We'll see. But they could just say that Ryan said that they killed Nicholas and they can't find the body. From what I understand about the spoilers, he's gonna be framed. I mean, logically it makes sense. I just, like, from a story point of view, until you factor in the fact that Nick's been dead for a bit. Hey Laura, you came in at the end again. I'm so sorry, but we're just chatting and chilling though at this point. But I am curious your thoughts on GH this week, if you want to talk about it, because we're gonna be here for a little bit longer, maybe like 7 more minutes, and right at 11 my time. Because, y'all, I got to work in the morning. And then I'm going to another concert. Like, it never ends for me. Forensics would know how old the body is. It wasn't fresh. Nick has got to be stinking by now. It's been a couple of days. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. On Friday, I was so pissed it was Friday. Hello, cliffhanger. Yeah, like, I was actually really impressed, and I think that was the first Friday in a long time where even I was like, "Are you joking me?" Because funny enough, like I mentioned this at the start of the stream, I went to a concert Friday night and then Saturday night as well. But I made sure on Friday that I watched GH, like mad dash watched GH while I ate before rushing to the show. Laura, you said new morning hours again, so I don't know how often I'm going to catch you guys, but I'm going to try. Well, I appreciate you trying to come on, and, you know, if you at least watch, you know, after the live's over, you can leave comments as well. Laura, you said, okay, for real, when Ryan was at the door, I got to ask, is it just me or was everyone else like, why the hell didn't you slam the door in his face? Yeah, no doubt. Like, what was he gonna do? Push it with one hand? There was two of them in there. They could have locked the door. But, oh, he had a gun, didn't he? Or he had a knife. Or he had something with him. Angels, you said, I'm such a concert guy. Listen, these are all local concerts, okay? Like, these concerts are between, like, 10 and 25 bucks at most, for the most part. The concert that I'm going to tomorrow is a bit more expensive, and it's not local. It's Papa Roach and Hollywood Undead, who I've been a huge fan of for years, so yeah. That's you know, aside from like when I went to Osheaga in Montreal this summer, I haven't been to a whole lot of like well-known like concerts in a bit. So I splurged for myself here, whereas like all the local concerts, while you know, it's half the fact is that a lot of these people are my friends. Okay, like the music and YEG thing that I do on Instagram, I've been doing for years, and so I've met most of the local musicians in town in a lot of genres. But I will say that yesterday was really important for me to be there, as tired as I was, because I was supporting a friend who, you know, had some like controversial times in his past that came to light, and you know, things that were kind of unfairly brought up again, despite, you know, knowing how much he worked hard and you know, for years and years and years to kind of make it right and be on good terms with people that were involved back then. And they are on good terms. And then also the concert was a benefit for cancer research and MS research. So, you know, two important things to be there for. And a lot of incredible musicians there. A lot of them I hadn't seen perform before either. So it was also kind of like wanting to be able to promote all these new bands that I have yet to see and that I haven't been able to promote on Music and YEG yet. So that's why. Angel, you said Papa Roach is still touring. Apparently, yeah. But maybe, I don't know. 2022, 2023 is kind of the year of the comeback for a lot of artists, right? So, you know, kind of that post-COVID sort of refresh that a lot of musicians have been getting. Because look how many musicians have been coming back, y'all. Like, since the COVID era, like, Avril Lavigne's doing her, like, she's gone back to her roots again. You got freaking all these artists putting out new music that haven't put out new music in years. Shania Twain's got like her whole like thing happening. Again, she's kind of in a bit of a renaissance herself. And this is a throwback. S Club 7, that British pop band that had the TV show, they're back together now too and going on tour. Like, there's a lot of musicians coming back. I'm excited for it. It's just like reliving my childhood over and over again. Not that I think I'd be able to go see S Club 7. I think they're only touring the UK and Ireland. Oh, yeah, Panic at the Disco, RIP to them. They're not back together anymore. But Fall Out Boy is, and they're putting out new music. And, like, it's crazy, like, how many people are coming back right now. We are losing some, but we're gaining a lot of returns to the music scene that I'm really excited about and stoked on. Laura, said, dude, slam the door, call the PD, and get your gun. You know, like, Ava's a ex-mob. Yeah, no doubt. Was hoping to do the Lizzie Borden house again for the 40th in April. But other things got to come first. So next winter, again, with axe throwing. Yeah, S Club is back. I'm actually really excited for that one. Like, they came back like 7 or 8 years ago. They went on a tour. Fall Out Boy been back. Yeah, but, like, not for that long. They've been back a couple years. I'm just saying, like, since 2020, like, all these bands have been slowly getting back together and doing things again. And now there's more, but, like... Wish Lordy and Battle Beast would come back to New England. The 18s might as well come back too. We'll see. We'll see who else comes back. It is wild for me that, like, Shania Twain is back. She's another Canadian artist that's kind of, you know, she made a name for herself internationally. Oh, good night, Sandy. You have a good night. Yeah, sorry, we got a little bit off topic, GH-wise, but we talked about everything that happened anyway. But yeah, the cliffhanger was a banger, y'all. But yeah, on that note, I will end the stream here. Just so I can get some rest, because the last couple nights have been, you know, coasting through it. Thanks, Sandy. Yeah, hit thumbs up for me. I'd appreciate it. Sandy's always looking out. I hate doing that outro, y'all. Like, being like, you know, give the video a big old thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, all that good stuff. Never knew Shania Twain left. Well, like, she had some vocal issues. And then she, like, she's put out music here and there, but she, like, I don't know, like, I think, like, since Coachella, like, that's when she, like, started to blow up again, and everyone was really paying attention to her, and now she's getting, like, all these accolades and stuff, which is cool. I think you're destined to miss my favorite bands. Mostly Finnish metal has my heart. Laura, I don't think I mentioned it. The cancer MS benefit that I went to yesterday was a metal. It was called Serenade Metal Fest. So it was all metal bands, and it was great. If you want to see highlights of, like, the local bands that I got to see, go on Instagram, search up Music NYEG, and you'll see the footage from last night. All really good bands, amazing bands. All right, you have a good night too, Nathan. Yeah, see you Wednesday. We're going to be watching scenes from the Black and White Ball on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's call it a night, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I'd really appreciate it. And I will catch you guys Wednesday. And then again Sunday for another General Hospital after show. Have a good night and have a good rest of your week, y'all. Peace out.